What's up, and welcome to another edition of the Cover 2 Recap. I'm Edward Lewis, publisher of BruinSportsport.com. This is Joey Kaufman, the UCLA beat writer for the OC Register. We're here today at Spalding Field, where UCLA wrapped up its fifth day of spring ball, and diving into some of the news and notes. Takaris McKinley came back, the defensive end, with the eye. I guess we're calling it an injury. It was swollen up, Jim Morris said, but he was out there today, looked fine. Caleb Bennock kind of came back today, worked with the ones at right tackle in warm-ups in the pre-practice period, but then ended up working with Sal Losi for the rest of the day, so it looks like he's still a couple days away from returning. And Priest Willis, the cornerback, ended up sitting out for most of the day with an undisclosed injury. We haven't talked to Jim Moore about that. So those were kind of the news and notes. The other big storyline of the day, obviously we're going to talk about this every day in the Cover 2 Recap, is the quarterback battle. Ashanti Ward and Jerry Neuheisel took all the reps, with Neuheisel getting the ones. What did you think of the two today?
Well, I think both kind of paled in comparison to what we saw from Josh Rosen on Monday. Just the type of plays seemed more limiting with Ashanti and Jerry in there. If you want to see a lot of throws to Devin Fuller in the flats, come watch Jerry and Ashanti throw, because that's what there was a lot of today. With Josh, it just felt like the playbook was a little more open. You saw a little more downfield throws. You saw a little more rollouts. You saw a lot of screen passes, bubble screens today, and both threw a pick. Neither was a great throw, and Josh didn't throw a pick on Monday. So if you're grading quarterbacks, at least they're the 2 days in the full pads with the first team, I'd probably put Josh ahead of those three if you put much stock into what Ed and I think.
The offense does go very horizontal when those two are at quarterback, that's for sure. Noel Mazzoni told us today that he'd probably like to narrow it down to 2 or 3 by the end of this spring, and maybe even pretty soon here. What was your takeaway from our press conference with him?
Well, Noel, I thought, brought up a good point. He said what you look for in a quarterback is a quarterback who sees the big picture but can kind of to zero it in. And he said Josh does very well in that regard, which is interesting because normally you might think a freshman quarterback wouldn't. You might think he might just focus in on 1 or 2 guys, but he seemed to think he had a grasp of the whole system, so it just kind of signals some maturity out of the freshman.
Let's dive into top performers. Give me one guy that stood out most to you today, and I think I know who it is, a receiver, right?
Alex Van Dyke had a couple nice catches along the sidelines. He had one throw from Jerry, which was to his back shoulder. He turned around, caught it with his right hand. So he had a couple nice catches. I think that was an encouraging sign.
I'll give you 2. I thought offensive lineman Kenny Lacy has had a really good spring and really highlighted it again today. I thought there was a screen pass to, I want to say it was Paul Perkins or Craig Lee, and Kenny got out in front of it and dug out Miles Jack and led the way on a big block there. He's been moving well in spring. He did well in one-on-ones, been kind of a stonewall in one-on-ones, been a really good guard prospect. And if he's not the starter this year, well, he's going to provide some pretty good depth. The other guy I thought was Matt Dickerson on the other side of the ball, the D lineman. We talked to him today. He said he's up to around 268, 270 pounds, and it shows. He's thicker, he's bigger, he's stronger, and I wouldn't be surprised if he eventually wins that 3-4 defensive end spot. He won a lot of his one-on-one reps today and beat up Puasi Moala pretty good. You had one more top performer, linebacker Jalen Brown. Tell me why.
Yeah, he had a nice during one-on-one drills. He had a nice interception. He had another nice deflected pass. I think those were kind of 2 nice plays. In general, I think the secondary and the linebackers have been pretty good this camp in their pass coverage. They seem very aggressive, not timid, jamming receivers. So that's interesting.
That'll wrap up our coverage from Day 5 out here at Spalding Field. You can follow Joey's coverage of UCLA on Twitter at Joey R. Kaufman. You can follow me on Twitter at Edward_Lewis. Until the next time, thanks for tuning in to the Cover 2 Recap.